Is flirting that something you should be doing as a Christian? Yes? No? What is your thought? Hello and welcome to Future Husband Diaries. My name is Maya Spanda and welcome if you are a new subscriber. Welcome to the community and I hope that you will enjoy the videos that are there. You can go back and watch all the other videos that we've done before and I hope that you'll learn. So if you really like the content, please share it with other people. Like, share, subscribe with other people. But if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. And I hope that you will really enjoy. So let's dive into it. So our topic today is navigating the dating scene. As flirting something you should be doing as a Christian? You know, when I was looking into this, there's like a trend going on where people are like, what are the flirtiest things that Christians can ever say? Like, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? All those corny things that people are doing out there. But today we just want to dive into like the real serious issue without all the comedic way of doing it. So, is it something that you should be doing? Flirting or not flirting? I know as soon as people saw this title, a lot of people were thinking, others were on team yes, others were on team no. But we would like to have this discussion, put the pros and cons on each side so that at the end of the day, you make an informed decision as a person. I'm just an internet person just telling you these things. I'm not saying do it, I'm not saying what, but I'm giving you, we're having an open discussion. Therefore, you make the decision as a person, whether that will be something that will be okay for you or that is something that is not okay with you. So the first thing that I did, I was like, I like all of those things that are going around. And a lot of people have a different opinion on what flirting is all about. But I wanted to go into detail and look at the definition first. So before we go on further, let's look at the definition. What is flirting? The definition that I found when I was researching it was saying, flirting is a form of social interaction that involves expressing playful banter or romantic interest in another person. It can be verbal or it can be nonverbal. Verbal cues include compliments, teasing, inviting someone to hang out. Nonverbal cues, body language, touch. So that's what flirting is all about. So as I was looking into this, I said, I'm a Christian and I'm talking to Christians out there. So what is it that we should get at the end of the day? We should talk like Christians in such a way that at the end of the day, whatever it is that we're saying, whatever it is that is going to be discussed here is going to show Christ in every single way. So what I ask myself is, what is the purpose of flirting? Yes, when you're looking at this, a lot of people will say that, but what really is the purpose of flirting? And the purpose is to signal attraction or interest in a potential. So when I was looking into it, I was saying, as a Christian, therefore, what you need to do is do everything not as the world does, but do it with boundaries in place. In such a way that your interaction, all the things that you do represent Christ in every single way. In such a way that, if someone goes around sharing rumors about what you're doing, if someone goes around saying anything about what you're doing, at the end of the day, you can still say, yes, I can still stand by the decisions that you made. And everything still resembles Christ in every single way. So what is it that you need to do? You can do some of the things that entail to flirting, but do it with a boundary in mind. The reason is, it says the purpose of all of those things is to signal intention, right? Or attraction to the other person. a person might come and ask you out as a way of showing that you have an interest. There are some things that you can do, but then at the same time, there are some boundaries that you cannot cross as a Christian. So things that you can do playful banter as long as it's innocent. You can you can invite someone to a Bible study. You can invite. That's something that you can do as a Christian as long as it's in a safe setting. Nothing is unbecoming. Everything that is going to be done there is just going to represent Christ, and you are not going to be embarrassed if someone says anything about it, right? And if you do all that, it's just a way with a purpose. And at the same time, you are not doing all of those things with a lot of people. Remember, as a Christian, maybe you have the guidelines and what you have looked into this person and you have seen that there might be a potential in this person, because you have checked all the things that you have checked before and you feel like that you can have a future with the other person. You need to be able to show, as a Christian woman, you need to be able to show that, yes, I have a little bit of attraction to you, right? We can even go on further and maybe take this into the courtship stage. But then, as I said, you need to do it in environments that are not unbecoming as a Christian, in such a way that when people look at it, it still looks innocent. It does not have any tainted thing in mind. And when you are doing all of those things, you are doing it with only one person. What I'm saying is you can't be going around flirting with this person, flirting with that person. You're going around flirting with the whole club. You're going around flirting with the whole church. No, that is something that you cannot do, right? You have to look into okay, I am only flirting with this one person to show interest. But if that person doesn't show interest, you need to have it like time sensitive thing in such a way. If that person doesn't show interest from this point to that, you are allowed to look into other avenues. You are allowed to stop it, right? And the thing is, it doesn't have to go on for too long. You find yourself in the talking stage with someone, and they are not showing, intentions of taking that even further. Take that as a signal that, no, the person is not interested, and you move on, right? You have done all that you can. Therefore, if they are not interested, you are allowed to just remove yourself from the situation, because you cannot be in the whole talking stage with someone for like a year, for like 2 years. At the end of the day, that person will get into a relationship. Therefore, it now looks a little bit shady. Now looks like that person is cheating or what. No, so do not do that. Make it into a time sensitive thing, and make sure the other person is single and has a little, just to check whether they have intention towards you. If they do not have any kind of intention, break it off and move on. And you cannot be going around flirting with every single person out there. Take your time, and only with the one that you have prayed over, one that you feel is the right person. If time is showing that that person is not, please move on and do not continue in that. The reason is, at the end of the day, you might just get invited to their wedding, and then you're like, ooh, that person, you start to have that kind of anger towards that person. Do it for a short time, and no harm, no foul if that person doesn't have the same kind of feelings that you have. You just have to take it on and move on, right? And as I said, you need to put up boundaries for yourself. You need to be able to say, I can do this, I cannot do that. The reason is, especially when it comes to nonverbal cues, the part which is talking about the body language and the touch, like the physical touch, especially it's a little bit unbecoming, especially for a Christian, going around, touching all those people out there. It doesn't represent well for you, like the dignity that you think you have. It's something that will not come out right. So I think those are boundaries that you can put for yourself, saying, I will not be touching anyone and they will not be touching me, because that is a boundary that I am putting for myself. I will not cross that boundary. And the other boundary that you can put up for yourself is, I will not go into conversations, or I will not find myself in interactions that become sexual in nature. I will not find myself in interactions that will, not represent Christ. When someone is looking like, okay, that kind of conversation when you're listening, then you like have to turn and be like, okay, that kind of conversation. You will not find yourself in such. The reason is, it's not about people looking at you in any way. It's about whether you are comfortable in that conversation. Will the angels around you be comfortable in that conversation? Is it something that God will be pleased with you in that conversation? Those are things that you should be asking yourself when it comes to those interactions. I know, with the way the world is now overly sexualized, right? You maybe think there's no harm because that person gets it somewhere. They get it everywhere else they go. Yes, but you are a Christian woman. You are different from the world. Sure that you are different from the world. If that person is not interested in that, the person is not for you, right? You just have to make sure that you have your own boundaries. There are some things that you do not cross. There are some things that you do not get into, right? The reason is it's very unbecoming, and it gives you like that kind of guilt afterwards. You'll be like, you know what? You are now embarrassed, and when you are now praying, like, God, why did I do that? God, why did I, those kind of, we do not want to get in those cycles wherever you get, and afterwards you get embarrassed about a conversation or something that you said. And then, you should make sure that whatever it is that you say, whatever it is that you do, it represents Christ in every single one. It's not going to be easy. I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. It's something that you have to keep on working, and you have to like constantly check yourself. You have like, looking at your life and be like, you know what, when I'm looking at my life right now, like, what are the conversations that I've had today? What are the things that I've said today? Do they represent Christ in some way? Is it something that I'm embarrassed about? Is it something that I'm not comfortable sharing? Those kind of things. So we need to make sure that you have your boundaries and you keep those boundaries. Have prayerfully looking into those boundaries and making sure that you are not lost in any kind of way. That is one thing that is one thing that I feel you should do as a Christian woman. As I said, boundaries. The reason why my point would differ with a lot of Christian women out there who are always saying, like, this is wrong, 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 right? The reason is, I feel we as a person, or we as a woman, I don't know, is we don't need to close ourselves a lot. The reason is, most of us are closing ourselves a lot, and we are always being rude to people out there. We are always moving fast. After church, you're the first one out. I am like that. Yes, okay, I was like that, still like that. It depends on which church I'm attending. Okay, it depends which church I'm attending. I'm usually like the first one out the door. I'm usually the first one. Whenever they say there's an outing, I'm usually be like the first one. I'm not going. With all of those things is, there are some people that we're interested in. They are interested in us. The reason is, it doesn't move from where we are just liking him and him liking me. It will never move on to the next stage of us courting. The reason is the opportunities do not align. The opportunities do not align. The reason is he thinks the girl is not interested. The girl is doing a lot of things that make the guy to think he's not interested, even though she is interested. So therefore, there are some things that you need to do, like a little bit of effort that you need to put up to show that you are a little bit interested. Right? I'm not going around saying twirl your hair. No. But I'm saying, be open to a conversation with that person. Talk to that person. If they text you, reply to that person. It's a way so that it gives them, like that peace of mind that they can even ask you out. Because a lot of them out, especially a lot of men, especially Christian men, they are afraid to take on the next step. The reason is they feel, that one would just say no, right? But because of what? But if we are open to those things, a person will feel more at ease, and therefore they will ask you out. Yeah. Therefore, I feel there are a little bit of effort that you have to put in, especially in this digital era that we're living in. A lot of people have to make an extra effort. We do not meet, especially a lot of times now, we do not meet face to face with people. You find ourselves not in the same space anymore. The reason is a lot of people now go to churches online. A lot of people now, they move around a lot with the whole digital era. Find a person this week, they're in Santi, next week they're in what, they're always moving around in so many different churches, right? So, being consistent in one place has become harder. So therefore, people have now jumped over that hurdle, and now people are now talking in the digital space. Therefore, you have to be willing, especially in the digital space, you have to be willing to reply to that conversation. You have to be willing to put on the effort to show that you are a little bit interested. But you have to do your safety first, especially as a person. In the digital space, you have to make sure that you put up some safety measures for yourself. There are some things that you should not be comfortable sharing. You can't be sharing your ID number out there. Even if you meet that person, be like, yeah, I saw your church, what? There are scammers out there. So be careful in that aspect. So make sure that the people that you interact with, you do not share your ID with, you do not share your physical address, you do not share live location, so that if that thing gets to be a little bit uncomfortable or you feel unsafe, you can cut off that interaction, and then at the same time you're still safe from stalkery people out there. The reason is, I know we are all Christians, but not everyone who claims to be a Christian is saved. There are some people who, they're sent by Satan and they're out there, to deceive you, girl. And they are there to bring the church into disrepute, right? With the things that they would do, they start to be creepy, they start to be what? If you feel that thing, therefore, is not comfortable for you, you are allowed to cut that. And make sure that you put in those measures first in such a way that they cannot track you, they cannot what? Those are the things that I feel you should say. But then at the same time, we should not be the type of women out there that just go around ghosting people for no reason. Like ghosting this one, ghosting that one, ghosting that. I know you can get to a point in your life where you say, I'm not attracted to you I feel like, okay, I have been talking to you for like a while now, and I feel we are not compatible, right? Do not ghost that person. I feel the best way to go about it would be honest to that person. Open up and tell them, I feel because of this, we are not compatible in this. Therefore, I feel like our interactions are not really going anywhere. Or I feel we should really cut off those kind of interactions. Maybe just communicate if there is a reason, right? And not just ghost them. It's easy to just ghost someone. But at the same time, give them the opportunity to know why you are doing this. The reason is, imagine you are ghosting someone, go around ghosting someone there, ghosting someone there. You develop that reputation of, that she just ghosts people. But if you are clear why you are doing a certain step, therefore, there is like a communication with that person, therefore, no hard feelings will be there, because maybe you're still in the talking stage. You haven't got to the other part where you are in the dating stage, you're in the courtship stage. You're still just in the talking stage. Therefore, you can communicate and then therefore cut that communication before it goes on further, because you shouldn't be wasting your time with something you feel uncomfortable with, because you just want to be a good person. You don't want to be rude. There is like a balance that needs to be there with you not being rude, but then at the same time doing something that you feel you are comfortable with. Do not just go around with other conversations because you don't want to be rude, right? You can have conversations with that person and therefore share with them that, no, I'm not being rude, but I feel this is something that, it has run its course. I'm not really comfortable taking it further than this. That way, if that person really is a Christian, they'll truly understand and they'll have no hard feelings at that point. And as I was saying, you need to put up measures for yourself, especially in the digital era. And if you are looking into someone, maybe that person is someone that you have met on the internet, you have to make sure that you are aware that with the rise in AI, with the rise in what, a lot of those profiles, they are curated or made for people so that they look good, they look wise, like everything just looks perfect, but that is not exactly who they are. Their profiles are made as a way, just to snare other people into that. So you have to make sure that you do your own research outside of the social media aspect that comes to you, right? You have to make sure that you also meet that person, you meet in person, you have those conversations in person. That way you can be able to judge whether this is something that I can take on or something that I cannot take on. The reason is a lot of people are different when they are texting from who they are in real life. The reason is other people are just charming on social media. Other people are just, that's who they are. They're just there just to make sure that you believe a certain aspect of their life, but it's not exactly who they are. But if you can meet someone in person, if you can have other people's opinion about that person, if you do not know them really well, it will help you to make an informed decision as a person, and therefore see whether this is something that you want to take on further or is something that you do not want to take on further. That is, and especially when you go, especially if you're a youth, you can even go on further and take it, like the youth outings. You go together to your youth outings. There are a lot of people around. You see how they interact with other people. You see how they interact with you. You see who they are, when you are playing games socially, how they react if they lose, how they react if they win. You'll be able to analyze their whole character from all of that. Because when it comes to social media or in the digital space, you can only see one aspect of them, the one that they're willing to show you. But if you are now looking at them around a lot of people, now you can be able to judge whether this is something that I can take on or something that I cannot take on. This is a very important stage that a lot of us are not fully invested in. Because we just say, that person is a Christian, I'm a Christian, then you just say yes, yes, yes. But then there are some things that you need to look into as a person to see whether they are that is someone that I'm willing to take on further, before you even get to the relationship. Yes, a lot of people are always talking about how it's important, to analyze this before you get into marriage. It's also important to analyze before you get into a courtship with someone. Therefore, you can be able to say, no, this is someone I really like, or this is something I didn't really like. If you are to look at, there's the episode that we did with Togoza, yes, she was talking about how she was able to see, because in the talking stage, she was able to eliminate a lot of people. And that's how she could be able to understand and fully understand the husband that she has now. Because, even in the talking stage, he outpassed all of them. And he was clear in his intentions. And whoever he was before, he was the same person when they were dating, and he's still the same person when they're what? When they are now married, because she took the time to what? To fully analyze who he is. So be open to all of those things. Do not just jump into it because we made a church, you just jump into it. There are some dangerous situations that we put ourselves in just because of that. Or like, oh, he just DM'd me, he liked my Christian content. Yes, that person liked your Christian content, but is he really, truly who he is showing you? So be able to be in open spaces with that person and fully analyze that person way beforehand. Therefore, you can make a well-informed decision as a person. So what is it that I've been saying? Make sure that all of those things, you look well into them. You do the things that you are comfortable with. Some things that you're not comfortable with, you're not even going to look at, because, we should be comfortable in the space. God wouldn't want us to be uncomfortable in life. Be like, okay, he's a deacon in his church, he's an elder in his church, he's what, so he's perfect. No. Look closely and take that time before you say yes to someone. Before you say, yes, we can start dating, take that time, take that space, and, be able to look into it and be like, yes, this is someone I think we might take the next step, we might start courting. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is confidence versus humility, especially when it comes to social media. I've talked about it in such a way that do not be afraid to be confident about who you are. A lot of us out there, especially if you are now making those profiles that we put out there for other people, we are not confident enough to show the people that we truly are Christians. Like, how will people look at me? Maybe they'll think I'm not being a goody two shoes. Maybe what? To have that confidence that, have that confidence to say, yes, I am a Christian. I stand by this. Have your profile, your space showcasing exactly who you are. That if you are really a Christian girl who likes like to go for these outings, showcase that in a way that, so that when someone approaches you, especially on social media, they know exactly who you are. They judge themselves beforehand and be like, I don't think I'll be fit for this person, or I think this person and I will click really well, right? So a lot of us, especially when we are looking at our social medias do not represent the Christ that we claim is in our hearts. We only, go to church and but then we do not showcase the love that we have for Christ. So we should make sure that our social media represents exactly who we are, exactly who we are trying to be, and how God is helping us in that way. Be confident that I'm a Christian woman in this day and era, and I'm, I'm taking the stand to be this person. Be confident in that. But then at the same time, that confidence should come with humility in such a way that, you be like, okay, I'm posting the outfit of the day when I'm going to church, and then you get 5 million views, and from those 5 million views afterwards you have people DMing you like, I like you, I like you, I like you. Then you start to be like, yes, yes, yes. Be humble in that aspect, and do not forget to scrutinize the people that come in, especially in social media. Do not just, I'm saying, to reply to all of them, yes. But then if you decide to take that person even closer to your close friends list, make sure that that is someone that you will be comfortable being around. If you are to meet a person that you have never met, maybe you met on social media, make sure he's in an open space. Make sure it's in a place where someone knows where you are. Share your location with a very trusted friend or a family member. That way you are safe out there, because it's no longer safe out there, especially like for women. So we have to make sure that we have like a better system. We have we have something that is helping us to make sure that we build ourselves to be better people out there, and we build ourselves to be safe in the world that we are living in, because other people have made it their mission not to make the world to be safe for people there. So what other thing can you do? Whenever you are engaging with the person that you're engaging with, in conversation with this person, you have to make sure that you're not just talking about superficial things. You're not just talking about things that do not even make sense. Make sure to engage them in conversations, like, do they attend church? Do they do they like the church that they're attending? Get to know who they are. Who are you as a person? What are you comfortable with? Get to know that person even further in that talking stage, so that you can make a well-informed decision. A lot of us are not okay, because especially when it comes to that talking stage, we tend to talk about superficial things, that will not help us make a certain decision. So make sure that you do all of this. So yeah, I've talked a lot, and I hope that you got a little bit from all of this. But then the thing that I just want to read what I wrote here. Yes. Use the space to show intent only to people you pre-screened, right? When it comes to you flirting, make sure it's people that you have pre-screened, it's people that you feel comfortable in, and you are only using it as a way to show intent, and you are genuine in it, and you want to know more about them. Do not let it go on too long, or you might be invited to their wedding. So that is my 2 cents on whether, as a Christian woman, you should be flirting or you shouldn't be flirting. So if you have a different opinion, or if you feel you can share more on this opinion that you have, make sure to comment and put it down there, so that we can have a conversation together and talk about this, whether it's something that we should be doing or it's something that we shouldn't be doing. Let's have an informed decision. So remember, like, subscribe, and comment, and tell us what you think. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode and you share it with other people that you think will benefit. So from Maya and the rest of the crew, we're saying, have a blessed week.